Welcome to Dr. P.C. Verma Economist YouTube classes. In this class, we try to learn Walras law. Walras law term is coined by Oscar Lange to distinguish Walras law, which is related to general equilibrium theory, is different from Sage law of market. Sage law of market was very popular in 1804. Sage law of market, that supply creates its own demand, and there will be full employment in the long run. This theory is known as Sage law of market. Oscar Lange was a great economist, and he saw that Sage law is a classical law, and this Walras general equilibrium came in 1874. In 1874, Leon Walras written a book, Elements of Pure Economics. Leon Walras was a great mathematician, and he developed his general equilibrium theory during the period of Adam Smith, 1776. There was analysis of the market, and that was for the economy through the partial equilibrium. And perhaps Leon Walras in 1874 written the book 1874. That means 1776 and 1874, nearly 100 years, 100 years and somewhat less gap between the writings of Adam Smith and the writings of Leon Walras. And there was more emphasis on single market, and macro analysis was not so much developed, and the focus was on microeconomics. Adam Smith said that wealth is the most important factor for the economy, and an inquiry into the nature and causes of wealth of nations was the name of his book. The period was period of imperialism, imperial empire, British Empire, French Empire, Russian Empire, Balkan Empire, Austrian Empire, Portuguese Empire. So all nations which were having some strength of money and power of waterways, they dominated in these colonies. And excess demand and excess supply could not remain in the boundary of one country. Rather, it is under the whole colony under one empire. At that time, Leon Walras, who is great economist, great mathematician, and he thought about the general equilibrium in the whole economy. For the first time, he coined the word of general equilibrium. Although there were some development by J.S. Mill and others, but that was not developed in a proper way. Leon Walras, in his book written in 1874, focused on excess demand, excess supply. Thing which is written here, that Walras law, the word Walras law was coined by Oscar Lange. Walras law states that the total value of goods and money supplied equal that of goods and money demanded. It means in the general equilibrium, there are two markets. One is commodity market and another is money market. So, Walras law states that the total value of goods and money supplied equal that of goods and money demanded. And so there will be general equilibrium. Another thing, Walras law is came to the economics field, the elements of pure economics. Elements of pure economics known as Walras law, and Walras law is an economic theory that the existence of excess supply in one market must be matched by excess demand in another market so that it balances out. Walras said that existence of excess supply in one market must be matched by excess demand in another market so that it balances out. This is equilibrium. This is general equilibrium because they are talking about the whole economy. Just you match this. Excess supply in one market must be matched by excess demand in another market so that it balances out. Similar type of view, not exactly the same, but similar type of view were developed by J.B. Say. J.B. Say said that supply creates its own demand. Here he focused on excess supply and excess demand. But what J.B. Say said? J.B. Say said that supply creates its own demand. Whatever is supplied in the economy, that will be demanded in the economy, and there will not be any gap. There will not be any unsold commodity in the market. There will not be any problem before the industry of excess supply. So there is similarity to some extent, but there is a distinction between these two because this is general equilibrium analysis and JBC focused on full employment. So full employment will be obtained. If there is any mismatch between demand and supply, it may create unemployment in one sector, but that may create more employment opportunity in other sector, and by migration of labor factor from one place to other, there may be equilibrium. So JBC says that supply creates its own demand, leads to full employment. There will be no unemployment at a mass scale. There may be unemployment in one sector, in one part of the economy, that may be overcome, that may be cured by the exchange of the factors of production, from surplus to deficit area. And overall in the economy, there will not be any full employment. There will not be any unemployment, mass unemployment. This was the version of JBC. Oscar Lange says that Sage law of market is different, and Walras law of general equilibrium is different. So Oscar Lange pointed out that Walras focused on general equilibrium and or related to the equilibrium in money sector, in commodity sector, in industrial sector, in production sector, like where the whole sector will be in equilibrium. And this is because they interrelated the different sectors by their analysis. And this law, Walras law, is an economic theory that the existence of excess supply in one market must be matched by excess supply in another market so that it balances out. The term excess demand is most important factor. Take the example XP, XI, XIPI. What is this? Demand. Price into quantity. Price into quantity in commodity market. We all know that if D minus S is greater than 0, D minus S is greater than 0, this is called excess demand. This is called excess demand in commodity market. In commodity market. And in the whole economy, if we take I is equal to 1 to nth commodities, then summation I is equal to 1, 2, and this difference is denoted as excess demand. Excess demand. XIPI, excess demand. So this XIPI is greater than 0. This is called excess demand. Excess demand in the economy. Sigma summation is taken to show the whole economy. What is important here, that if it is negative, excess demand is negative. Excess demand is negative. if excess demand is negative, then this will be, excess demand is negative, then this will be known as excess supply. Excess supply. If excess demand is negative, then it means there is excess supply. So this is in commodity market, value of goods. This is goods. And when we talk of demanded, then demanded will be this one, excess demand. This is in commodity market. Likewise, in money market, there may be excess supply and excess supply and excess demand. We all know that this is supply of money and this is demand for money. This is supply of money and this is demand for money for the economy. Then if demand is greater than supply, this is called excess demand. Excess demand in money market. And if the reverse, that supply of money is greater than demand for money, this is called excess supply. Excess supply of money. Excess supply of money. If demand is less than, and let us take demand for money equal to K, supply of money equal to M. So excess demand in commodity market and excess supply in commodity market, or the value, total value of goods and total of money and money supplied equal to total value that of goods and money demanded. So this excess supply, Walras law, that excess supply in one market must be matched by excess demand in another market so that it balances out. In general equilibrium, that excess demand in one market and excess supply in one market matched by excess demand in other market, there will be, both will balance, it balances out, and there will be general equilibrium in the whole economy. If we take the factor market, J is equal to M. Take the capital XP, capital X and P, capital X and P means demand minus supply greater than 0 in factor market. XI used in commodity market, in factor market, J is equal to 1 to 3 dot dot N, M. So this is excess demand. This is excess demand in factor market. Excess demand, this is represented by excess demand in factor market. And if we use same equation, taking capital J, capital P for the capital J 1 to M equal to demand minus supply less than 0, then this is excess supply. This is excess supply in factor market. In factor market. So what is required? That in Walras law, all markets can be taken: factor market, commodity market, money market. If all are taken simultaneously, then the existence of excess supply in one market must be matched by excess demand in another market so that it balances out. We all know that in the economy, demand and supply is also important factor. Take for example, suppose this is total stock, total endowment, and this is vertical S represents total stock in the economy, and upward S and downward D is the desired and this is actual total production. At full employment. In the economy, under pure elements of pure economics, we all know that resources are scarce in the economy. Resources are fixed in the economy. At a point of time, resources are fixed, and so it may be represented by a vertical supply curve. But this upward sloping supply curve is desired production, desired supply, and this D is desired demand. So this is general equilibrium. real income constant. Real income constant. At this point, this desired is equal to supply is equal to actual. If D is equal to S is equal to actual, this is called general equilibrium. But this may be like this. This may be like this. That general SA is here, S is here, D is here. So this will be a gap. Your actual is this position, but actually supply is less, demand is less, and so this will a case of depression. Or in the economy, there may be another case when SD is like this. This. This is SA, this is D, and this is S. So here there may be excess demand. Here there is excess supply in the economy, but the actual desired supply, desired demand is less. And in this case, there is excess demand, excess supply in the economy. Then supply indirectly represents factor market. D represents commodity market. So this will lead to inflation. This will lead to inflation. So in the capitalist economy, taken into consideration, excess demand in the economy and excess supply in the economy, that may be corrected through the interest rate variation, through the increase in investment, through the increase in income, and thereby general equilibrium will be established. It is said by Walras that what is required under Walras law. Walras law implies that for any excess demand over supply for a single good, that a corresponding excess supply over demand exists for at least one good, which is the state of market equilibrium. Walras law implies that for any excess demand over supply for a single good, that a corresponding excess supply over demand exists for at least one good, which is the state of market equilibrium. Walras law is based on equilibrium theory, which says that all markets must be cleared of any excess supply and demand to be in equilibrium. Any excess supply and demand to be in equilibrium. And therefore, this excess demand and excess supply both will be equal to zero. Then this is the stage of general equilibrium. In commodity market, in factor market, in money market, and therefore this economic theory that the existence of excess supply in one market must be matched by excess demand in another market so that it balances out. What is most important factor that Walras law is based on equilibrium theory, which says that all markets must be cleared of any excess supply and demand to be in equilibrium. If you compare it with JBC, say the law of market, they also imagined that there will not be any overproduction in the economy. He did not emphasize on excess demand, excess supply, but he was in the view that there will not be general overproduction and there cannot be general unemployment in the economy. Say the law that was in 1804, it was established by him, and it was very popular law till it was rejected in 1929-32 Great Depression, when mass unemployment was created in USA. 160 lakh people were unemployed in the USA. 60 lakh people were unemployed in Germany. 30 lakh people unemployed in the UK. And this unemployment was retrenchment from the industry. That retrenchment was because of overproduction. And market is not clear. Inventory is full, produced quantity supplied to the different channels. They are not demanding for that commodity, that services. This is called mismatch between demand and supply. So Oscar Lange says that Walras law and Sage law of market both are not similar, because Walras explained with the help of excess supply in one market must be matched by excess demand in another market so that it balances out. Whereas JB said supply creates its own demand. He never thought of matching it. It is his view that there will be no unsold product because supply creates its own demand. Supply creates its own demand. That was rejected by Leon Walras in his general equilibrium analysis. He analyzed that we have to take excess demand of one market and at the same time excess supply in another market. If both balances the economy, then this is called market equilibrium. This is called general equilibrium, when in all the sectors of the economy this is being established, like commodity market, like factor market, like money market. And therefore Walras law implies that for any excess demand, oversupply for a single good, that a corresponding excess supply over demand exists for at least one good, which is the state of market equilibrium. Walras law dominated before 1890. We see that in 1874, Walras' Elements of Pure Economics was published, And that was the period of downfall of Adam Smith's definition of economics. It was very much criticized that in economics is a science of wealth, and therefore at that time the emphasis was to develop a new definition of economics in 1890. 1890, it means 74, and just after 15 years, 16 years, there is a publication of Principles of Economics by Alfred Marshall. Alfred Marshall, probably not in favor of Walras' general equilibrium. He believed in other things remaining the same. We can study law of demand. We cannot study all sectors simultaneously. Therefore, he believed in partial equilibrium analysis, and on that basis he developed his demand theory and other theory. On the other hand, Walras said that demand and supply was known as invisible hand by Adam Smith. Adam Smith was very much supporter of free trade, supporter of rent for surplus, supporter of invisible hand. Perhaps this invisible hand concept, which came into existence in 1776, and this is 1874, 100 years, this concept was in the economy, invisible hands. So, Walras general equilibrium analysis is explained with the help of invisible hand. That in the market, invisible hands, demand and supply, are always at work to settle markets into equilibrium where there is excess demand. The individual hands will raise prices. Again, repeat. Individual hand is at work to settle markets into equilibrium where there is excess demand. The individual hand will raise prices. And when there is excess supply, the individual hand will again act and will lower the prices for the consumers to drive markets into a state of balance. So Walras general equilibrium is analyzed with the tool of Adam Smith, tool of the free economy, coined as individual hands. So in the economy, there is a laissez-faire, there is no state interference. So individual hand will operate, automatically settle the market. And if in the market there is excess demand, then individual hand will raise prices. If in the market there is excess supply, then individual hands will lower the price, and so the consumer's behavior, producer's behavior will be automatically drive to the state of balance. Producers, for their part, will respond to rationally to changes in interest rate. In the analysis of Walras law or the analysis of general equilibrium, that how does general equilibrium will appear. One analysis